In this installment, we're going to be going over the Thursday night football showdown slate between the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers. Let's get into it. Hey, yo! Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Chef D, and I'm here to bring you the winning ingredients for our Thursday night football showdown slate on Draftkings. We have an NFC North matchup here, classic one here. Detroit Lions going up against the Green Bay Packers. But before I deep dive into this very, very intriguing slate, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MentionTheChefD. Don't forget about that TikTok at Chef_D91. And don't forget about the Patreon. But before I deep dive into that section here, guys, we are at the home page of the YouTube. 1.41K subscribers. We're going to continue to push this effort forward to get to 2,000 subscribers. That's going to be our next goal. We are moving very fluently so far this month. Numbers are up with subscribers. If you guys are viewing this video and not currently subscribed to the channel, why don't you just click that subscribe button, show some support and effort. Hey, I'm not asking for money. I'm just asking for a subscription here. I'm giving you analysis here on each and every showdown and weekly DFS breakdown slates. Guys, if you want to get connected with the bets, then you can go to that link down below in the Patreon, and that's where we are right now. Obviously, as you can see, this 3-game parlay here was Steelers, Eagles, Rams. That was the Sunday night connecting with the Monday night doubleheader. This was on the Patreon, okay? We had the winning selection here in the Eagles, and I gave out the +3 on the Rams. That was essentially a push here. So we got that parlay that came through 25 for $112. If you want to get into this winning community, sign up for that Patreon link down below. I'm going to be having my selection for Thursday night football winner. I'm going to have my selection of anytime touchdown as well in the Patreon. Click that link if you want to get into the winning ways right now. Obviously, I'm going to have my future bets for the NFL as well. If you want to get on early access to the futures of the NFL Super Bowl, go to that link down below as well. Now let's get into this slate. At the captain position here in this NFC North battle we got going on, we're going to start things off at the top with Amon-Ra St. Brown. He does come with a little bit of a disclaimer here. This is Amon-Ra St. Brown going up against Jair Alexander, who has been a stout cornerback in the league. Matter of fact, let's do a little quick research here. We're going to go to StatMuse just to see if it's 100% valid. How has Amon-Ra St. Brown been against the Green Bay Packers? We're going to go past the last 2 games really quickly. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, DKP by game log versus Packers. They missed the A. Last 2 games. Now, if you want to look up any type of stats, you can definitely utilize StatMuse. It helps a lot just to get an idea or how things are going to turn out. So this was last season here, 10.9 and 9.5, 6 receptions on 9 targets, 49 yards, 4 receptions, 9 targets, 55 yards. So you can see against this in particular team here, almost double-digit fantasy points here. Not what we exactly need for him to pay off at that captain price. But hey, this is another year under his belt. Amon-Ra St. Brown looks geared to take another step forward in his career. And I still do like him. This is the #1 option on the Detroit Lions offense here. I'm not that afraid of Jair Alexander coverage here. So I'm going to still go with Amon-Ra St. Brown in this game, okay? He does come with a little disclaimer, but I'm not afraid of Jair Alexander. I'll be taking that that bite a little bit of fate here, I'm going to rock with Amon-Ra St. Brown in this matchup here. He's getting a ton of targets here, over double-digit targets. We need him to get, hopefully he'll get in the end zone in this game as well. He has not gotten an end zone since week 1. So I think things bode well for him in this scenario here with the Detroit Lions, okay? Next guy we're going to be looking at the captain spot will be Jahmyr Gibbs. This play here is going to be my favorite on the board, all right? A lot of people are going to go Amon-Ra, Jordan Love, but Jahmyr Gibbs, I think, is going to finally have his breakout game on national television on Thursday Night Football. This is a perfect matchup for him. If we go for matchups right here, rushing defense, the Green Bay Packers is 27th ranked. If we go on lineups, right here, if we break down the Green Bay Packers defense against running backs, 24th overall and 24th in the red zone, allowing 118 yards per game and 4.4 yards a carry, 7.5 receptions as well. All these numbers bode well for Jahmyr Gibbs in this game. We're going to find out news on David Montgomery. He did go through practice right now. He has currently he has a Q tag, but Jahmyr Gibbs should be fine as well. They might just lessen the load on David Montgomery with his first game coming back. We'll see, but I'm not going to shy away from Jahmyr Gibbs as my favorite play on this Thursday Night Football slate, all right? We're going to wait on news on David Montgomery. We'll get to all of the injury guys on the flex plays, but this is another one that obviously if he's back and healthy, they do like him to take over the first and second down scenarios for this team, all right? So wait on news for him. Right now, he's limited on Tuesday. We need to find out more on Wednesday's practice. And then obviously the final decision will come Thursday. So if David Montgomery is healthy, he can be another factor here in as a flex play. And you can go double running back, get a little bit contrarian there in your lineup builds. Okay, the next guy we're going to be going towards at the captain spot will be Jordan Love. All right, Jordan Love here. He's getting to the 20 fantasy point mark with or without touchdowns. All right, so 3 touchdowns in the first 2 weeks. He got to 20 fantasy points. In week 3 against a very tough defense here, the New Orleans Saints, he only had 1 passing touchdown, but it's the rushing upside, all right? He had 39 yards rushing, had a rushing TD, and he had his best performance all season, 25 fantasy points. So even if it's a bad matchup, I'm trusting Jordan Love in this scenario to provide me some upside here because of his legs that we've seen in the first 3 games. He is not shy if things break down, moving out of the pocket, getting some yards, okay? And then obviously they orchestrated a run for him as well. So I like Jordan Love with some upside here because of his running abilities and hopefully he'll get all his weapons back in this particular game. We'll talk about those guys coming up on the flex plays very, very soon. The next guy we're going to be talking about is going to be Luke Musgrave. One of the weaknesses of the Detroit Lions is going to be that linebacker core and safety area here going up against other tight ends. We're waiting for Luke Musgrave to finally break out. He's had 2 opportunities out of the 3 games to really get a big touchdown, 60-yard touchdown, but unlucky. He's either tripped or fell. There's been weird occurrences here where Luke Musgrave has not gotten in the end zone. I think he's going to get in the end zone in this game in Lambeau against the Detroit Lions, against one of their weaknesses, against opposing tight ends. I like Luke Musgrave, rookie tight end right here, 8, 4.5, and 10.9. He's getting a nice allotment of targets here and reception. So we're going to be rocking with the rookie here as a captain play for this Thursday night slate. All right. The next guy we're going to be talking about will be Josh Reynolds. All right, Josh Reynolds, this one's going to be a little under the radar. He had a goose egg in game number 3, which is not like him, against Atlanta. In the first 2 weeks, he was shining, 4 for 80, and then against Seattle, 5 for 66 and 2 touchdowns. This is a nice safety blanket here for Jared Goff. Like I said, if they're gonna lock up Amon-Ra St. Brown with Jair Alexander, then who you think is going to get the targets? Obviously, it's going to be Jahmyr Gibbs out of the backfield, Josh Reynolds as well. Okay, he's going to be flying on the radar in a one-game slate. Not a lot of people are going to be feeling comfortable with this guy here, especially after he had 0 fantasy points in week 3. I have no problem going to the well of the Josh Reynolds at a captain spot. All right, so I like him in this game against the Green Bay Packers. All right, let's move on to the flex plays. Now, on to the flex plays. I did give you a low allotment of captains, but this is because the flex plays are going to vary. All right, we have a lot of injury news here, and I really want to just take my time on this flex position and go through all these guys because we have a lot of factors here. Okay, there are a lot of weapons on both sides of the football field here. Even though I do think that this is not going to be a very high-scoring game, this is an in-division matchup. It's going to be ugly type of environment here between the Lions and the Green Bay Packers. So we're going to go through all these other flex plays that have upside as a captain if you feel swayed of the reasoning why I'm going to be talking about these guys. But right now, they're going to stay in this flex area. The first guy we're going to be talking about is Aaron Jones, all right? Right now, A.J. Dillon has looked like the worst running back in the league. He just took the opportunity 2 games in a row. He could have been, the number 1 running back, spark things off, create a little competition. But no, he has performed poorly, and they really need Aaron Jones in this game. This is a tough matchup here, all right? That's why I moved Aaron Jones down to the flex. If he's cleared to play, then that's great. But the Lions have been holding opposing teams to under 3 yards per carry, all right? So, that's going to be very intriguing right here with Aaron Jones. But the dual threat of Aaron Jones is he is dynamic out of the backfield receiving the football. You saw him against the Chicago Bears, 2 receptions, 86 yards, and a touchdown. That's what's going to provide him upside here as a flex play if he's going to be active. Right now, he is listed as limited on Tuesday practice. We'll see what happens Wednesday, but if he's cleared to go, then we can definitely play him as a flex option. All right, the next guy we're going to be going towards will be Jared Goff. If this was a home game, I'm more gung-ho on Jared Goff. He plays comfortable there in the nice combines of Ford Field here. Now we're getting him on the Tundra in Green Bay, and this might be a little bit of a down effort like we saw against Kansas City. Only 14 fantasy points. When he was home, you got Jared Goff averaging around 22 to 23 fantasy points a game when he's at home. There's a little bit of a difference there, all right? So that's why we're going to bump him down just a little bit. I think Jared Goff, obviously, he's been protected very well. They gave up 0 sacks last week against Atlanta. So as long as they keep him upright, then you can have a decent game from Jared Goff. I do think he's a fine flex play if you want to go. If I'm thinking we're going to go Jordan Love, you can have Jared Goff in your lineup and bring some receiving options on both sides of the football here to have a nice little game stack, all right? So it could be Jordan Love at captain, Jared Goff as a flex. Then you can bring in Jaden Reed or Romeo Doubs. And then on the Detroit side, you can bring in Amon-Ra St. Brown or Josh Reynolds, who I just spoke about. All right, so Jared Goff is going to be a solid option as a flex play. Next will be Romeo Doubs, all right? Now, Romeo Doubs here is going to be a flex play, but everything is going to be geared upon if Christian Watson is going to be in or out, all right? I just showed you Romeo Doubs. He had 12 targets. That's not going to be the same if Christian Watson is going to be in the wide receiving core here, all right? There's going to be some splitting of reps for that wide receiver position, even though they have no names here, but all these guys are effective, all right? Christian Watson, we've been waiting for him to finally get on the field. He can take any reception, any run, any end around, all the way to the house, all right? Any deep ball all the way to the house. Christian Watson is very, very dynamic. We're waiting for this connection. If he's a full go, then we can definitely consider him in our flex option, okay? So for the first time, him getting on that field, all right? Don't be shy. If he's in, he's clear to go. Definitely play Christian Watson, all right? The next guy we're going to be going towards here, we're not going to play A.J. Dillon, all right? We're not falling into that trap. If he was not going to take advantage of his opportunities in the last 2 weeks, then he's going to need to show something. But it has been absolutely horrible of what he's done last year and now yet again this season. All right, so we're going to move away from A.J. Dillon. Sam Laporta is going to be a guy that we're going to consider here. He had a nice breakout game against Atlanta, 8 on 11 targets, 84 yards, and 1 TD. That could be because, hey, Josh Reynolds at 0. Some of the targets had to fall on to someone else. It was Sam Laporta in that game, all right? So now Sam Laporta coming in another environment here. I expect him to have a solid game here. He's been getting 5 to 6 targets each and every game anyway. So he has a nice solid floor here to put in as a flex play going up against these Green Bay Packers. I have no problem going towards Sam Laporta, all right? The next guy we're going to be talking about will be Jaden Reed here. So this guy is going to be non-effective when Christian Watson comes back into play, all right? Because he's the slot wide receiver. Doesn't matter if, ands, or buts, okay? No matter what, Jaden Reed is locked in at that slot position. So Christian Watson comes in, he's going to be taking away snaps from Romeo Doubs or Wicks or any other outside wide receiver that they have for Green Bay. But Jaden Reed is your locked in slot receiver. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. He could add another big game yet again. He missed an opportunity to catch a touchdown against New Orleans. He's coming off a huge game against Atlanta where he had 2 touchdowns as well. This is a very impressive rookie here coming out of Michigan State. A lot of people got on his radar a little bit later in the process, but Jaden Reed is looking like a stud here. He could emerge as the number 2 right behind Christian Watson. I'm liking what I'm seeing so far from the young rookie here in Jaden Reed. So I like him as a flex option, all right? For this slate, both kickers are going to be viable, okay? We have Patterson and Carlson here on both sides of the football. We're going to clear this out. Both kickers are going to be viable in our lineup builds, all right? So we have Patterson here and we have Carlson. Obviously, I think this is going to be a low-scoring environment. Kickers are going to be very, very important. They can move the ball, but if they're struggling to get the football in the end zone, that's why these guys come into play, all right? Now, if I'm looking at defenses, I'm going to be leaning towards the Lions defense over the Packers defense just because I love the pass rush here of the Detroit Lions, okay? They have been putting up more fantasy points so far this season, and they actually have an elite pass rush. Last week against the Atlanta Falcons, they got 7 sacks, okay? Don't forget, they have Aiden Hutchinson. They have a lot of guys that can get to the quarterback and definitely have Jordan Love struggle a little bit. This is another tough test for the Green Bay offensive line and Jordan Love as well. 7 sacks. Coming off that, they're going to be geared up and very confident in this game going up against the Green Bay Packers. That's why I like the Lions defense. If they can get Jordan Love into some hurry throws, then they can create some turnovers as well. So Love Lions defense at $4,000 in salary. If we're looking at any other punt plays below the kickers and defenses, if Dave Montgomery is ruled out, the other 2 running backs that they do have would be Craig Reynolds here at $2,800 and Zonovan Knight here at $1,000 in salary if I'm choosing one or the other. This is only if Dave Montgomery is out, then I would lean towards Bam Knight in that scenario, all right? If there is any other plays down below here in this below $3,000 range, I would not go that far. The lowest player I would go would be Davion Wicks because he has some explosiveness here. He's got that Rashid Shaheed type of vibe here where he can take any little route all the way to the house. He's obviously an option here for Jordan Love, but that does come into a little bit of a factor if Christian Watson plays. So that's why I said you got to wait on news, and then we can move on to how we're supposed to in our lineup build. So if Christian Watson in, if Aaron Jones is in, and if David Montgomery is in, we're going to be factoring those guys as flex plays. If they're out, then you can get some of these cheaper guys like Wicks, like Craig Reynolds, like Bam Knight, or Damian Wicks. Okay, so you have these three options here if depending on the starters are in and out. So the final three guys that we're going to be going with, the locks to have in each and every one of our lineups. Number one will be Jahmyr Gibbs. I love him in each and every one of our lineups. Luke Musgrave, I think he's going to have a bounce back game. And then we're going to go Amon-Ra St. Brown. These are my three favorite plays on the slate. And then you can build around that. All right. So thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MessageSD. And I'll be back with another video very soon.